Hey, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another episode of Lean Coaching for Lean Coaches. Yes, I spit it out correct this time, the first time. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to be with you as always on Tuesday. We're here in the Northwest. We've had some beautiful spring weather, and I've just got so much excitement for my conversation today. And of course, these sessions are all about helping lean coaches find clarity and take action and move forward. And if that's you, where you feel like you're stuck as a lean coach, a lean consultant, and you need someone to help you do that to move forward, that's my jam. That's what I love doing. If you think about a tree, when was the best time for it to be planted, for you to plant a tree? It was 20 years ago, of course, but even better right now, because of course we can't go back. So if that's you, you're like, ah, dang, I don't know, I'm stuck. Now was the time to get moving. Shoot me a DM. We can start doing all that good work together. But of course, we're here to have a conversation with a lean coach and help them. And this person that I'm bringing on today, he's got such a massive heart. He loves people. He loves this lean work. And I've had the fortune of being able to support him previously in the past year. And so I'm excited to bring on Alexi Lamadrid. Hi, Alexi. Let's see if I can get it all squared away. Yes, we're here. Okay, great.
Yeah,
I've got the technology. We're good. How are you doing, my friend?
doing great. Thank you, Sam.
Hey, y'all. Well, hey, we're going to have a great conversation today. And for all of you that are joining us today, of course, please drop in and feel free to drop in the chat. Great to see you, Mark and Michelle and Renee and Megan. Renee, we were just talking about you. Your ears might have been burning. Goodness gracious, it's so good to have you all in here today. And please feel free to drop in any comments or anything that resonates for you as we're having this conversation today. And of course, you're going to want to connect with Alexi after this. His energy is just so positive and encouraging, and he has such a passion for this lean work. But hey, I'm going to stop talking, Alexi. You tell the people what are you up to these days? What's got you passionate and excited?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Uh, First off, yeah, I want to say good morning to Mark as well, and Michelle and Megan and Renee. Yeah, what's got me excited? This change of weather, like you said, Northwest, spring weather, balmy weather. We get teased. I think this is our fifth summer in winter,
That's
and
right.
gardening. I was out gardening with my daughter over the weekend, and that sort of metaphor you mentioned about planting the seed, years early to see it grow. And that's what I'm doing with my daughter, and really excited. We're starting some cherry tomatoes from a seed for the first time. Um,
We're all
and
coming
so,
over.
yeah, we're all coming. Yes, we'll be popping some nice warm cherry tomatoes in July, maybe. And um, otherwise, with, I guess, work, and as I mentioned, personal life, that it feels like I need a time to spring clean. And so
Yeah.
a lot of things happening in my work life and personal life. Just trying to figure out where to start. So
Yeah, what maybe for those that aren't familiar with you, I know you do lean work in your role. Maybe tell us a little bit about what kind of
mm,
your day-to-day, or like what you enjoy most about what you do. Like what's your thing?
yeah, I would say now, 20 years in, believe it or not, I think
Dang.
yeah, 8 employers later, and you know, I would say the biggest thing that I really enjoy is developing others, and that's that whole, if you want to call it the kata, the coaching kata, improvement kata, just helping pass that on to the next um, lean learners. And so that's what I'm really passionate about these days lately. And the other part of my role, the other half, I'm also a product owner of an application at my work, and it kind of measures productivity and just daily metrics. And so I'm running a team in India, like just only 3 people, and so that's been neat. That's been new, um, and so yeah, those are really the two areas that I'm excited, because one, I'm learning about software sort of development, and then two is partnering with different leaders.
So developing people is kind of your thing, like helping people develop them and grow them. Why is that like? Why is that something that like drives you? Why is it you so passionate about that?
There's something about knowing that they'll do whatever you do to them, they'll do to others.
Hmm.
And so just knowing that how I show up, you know, what I teach them, what I tell them, and if I'm humble or if I'm, super assertive or overly confident where I think I know everything, then it, it may they may do that to others. So just knowing that I have an impact, but it starts with me. I always feel like we have control of our own self. You know, like today I'm wearing my gym attire in a way because I know I want to be fit. That's what I'm striving for. Um, and I know I have control. I can get up, go to the
Hmm.
gym, but it's up to me. I can read all the books about working out and all the recipes on how to eat healthy, but at some point I have to do it on my own. So yeah, I think just knowing you have control and then you could help others.
Hmm. Yeah, it's that idea of practice, right? Like we do it.
Mhm.
We don't just like you said. We don't learn how to ride a bike by reading a book on how to ride a bike. We actually have to go out and do it. And the same with I think with developing people. What what about that is so energizing knowing that like your action is is having an impact on people. I think of like us as parents, of course, we're
Mhm.
both parents, we got kids, and we get to have that the blessing of being able to impact them. But what about doing that like in your day-to-day work? Why is that so energizing for you?
The piece, there's something about giving versus taking, and so when I know I'm giving, then that I guess that seeing them either accept it or
Mm.
think differently about it or pause. I just really like that because I've then you feel like you're actually contributing to one's development or one's perspective and something for them to consider. Not necessarily tell them what to do, but just I think maybe a part of this space, we're here, we're in a sacred space where we can develop each other, help each other, and inspire each other. Can't raise a child, with on your own. It takes a village, right? Sort of
Yeah.
that saying, and yeah. So I think just seeing them kind of get unstuck and then go forward, and then now you're like, okay, I had some kind of purpose in that conversation.
Mm. Yeah, that purpose is something that it resonates, right? I was just listening to this podcast this morning with Simon Sinek and Charles Duhigg, and they were talking about when you get lost in in your work, and like, okay, why, like, we are people developers, right? And sometimes we
Mhm.
struggle ourselves. Why do I get lost? Why can't I remember all that for myself? Why do I struggle with that? And a big part of what Simon Sinek, he wrote the book
Mhm.
Start with Why. So of course he brings it back with,
Mhm.
okay, like, start with why. Like, if I'm walking into Starbucks and my purpose is to inspire people, am I inspiring the barista? And if the answer is no, well, hey, Simon, get your together and start doing that. So having that clear purpose is so
Mhm.
powerful, and bringing it back to that. So I'm wondering, kind of, for you, what's your purpose? What do you see as that for you?
Can you say that one more time? Just the way,
Yeah.
yeah, just to make sure I
So,
understand. Yeah.
and maybe what would be helpful is
Mm,
to, it was more about purpose and understanding your purpose, but I think maybe what might be
mm,
more helpful is to understand what's on your mind, or what's the challenge and struggle for you right now, because you clearly have a lot of
mm,
that deep, you want to help people. You
mm,
That's a big part of you. You've shared that. So what is the struggle for you right now? Because like, there's a lot of people who are in work and they just
mm,
go and they show up, right? They're just doing it. They're punching the clock many times.
mhm.
So, but for you, there's a deeper purpose. what's the challenge? What's the struggle for you right now?
Yeah, I think the kind of keep it with that spring sort of change of season.
Yeah.
Um, the challenge that's in front of me is I'm feeling like overwhelmed. Um, so much to do, and then which one do I where do I start? It's at a point where I've actually removed my visual kind of calendar to-do list from my wall because it was just too much. And so I'm like resetting, and finding where, what's really important, to me, and
Mm.
finding, I think, that north, that purpose. I have some kind of north, to be present with my family, um, to not say no to any things that my family wants to do together.
Mm.
That's really where I want to be at. Where yes, I can go here. Yes, versus there's work. There's this thing to do.
Yeah.
There's this thing to clean. Yeah. So it's
What yeah, and I really like that picture too that you just created of what's important to you, because I think that we can get, it's so easy to get like bogged down in knowing it. And as I shared before we came on, like I'm learning with you here, because this is definitely a challenge. This morning I woke up and it was
mm,
probably like I kept looking at my watch. It's like 4:42. Okay, no, it's 4:47. No, it's like I'm
mhm,
looking every 5 minutes, just thinking about the day and all the things to do. So I can relate to this feeling of overwhelm. And I think, a lot of folks who are in here, in the chat and are here, if you're feeling that, please, feel free to raise your hand so we can know we're not crazy here and feeling this overwhelm in this season. What is it like that you want your life to be like? Obviously, overwhelm is not the the state that you
mhm.
want it to be, and I don't think that's anything we want. What is the way you want it to be like?
Yeah. Again, I think I think just being centered. How to get back to that center. Um, at that hour, at that minute. Versus living off my center.
Mm,
For days, for hours, for days, for weeks, for months, and
mm,
that's kind of where it's at, like where I am. Um, so the yeah, so I guess that's where I want to be, is just be able to know how to come back. It's almost like, what's can I have some muscle to bring me back to center, um, and know when I'm off center, early, versus waiting, lingering, and
what would you say this center, like how do you know, like when you're in that moment or
mhm.
in those days or weeks where you feel like you're centered, how would you know that that's happening?
Yeah, I guess being present, with whoever I'm with, whether I'm talking to you, or just knowing that I'm there, um, not having this kind of cloud of things I have to get done. Um, that's how I would know, is that I'm able to participate in the thing that's important right now, and being able to say no to things. So that's, yeah, present. I guess that would be the wrap or summary in one word.
Can you give me like an example, maybe with either at work or at home or something that
Mhm.
feels relevant, of what that, like, what would you see going on to make you know, to help you know, like, okay, this is
Yeah.
actually happening right now?
Yeah. So, like an example would be, let's say, someone came up to me with a problem or an opportunity, um, to sit. Right now someone's asking me to sit on a committee so that I can help, contribute to these events that are going to be held. Um, and so if I know that that committee is within my purpose, like it's actually something that I feel strongly about, then right then and there I could say yes, I'd love
Right.
to be part of that committee, versus saying nothing, and just my usual response is thank you, and I'll consider, and I don't even know if how to come back and say no. Like, and so what would happen is if I knew right then and there, I'm able to respond and say yes or no. Um,
So having that feeling of is it feeling like settled and giving an answer to something?
mhm. Yeah, having that feeling, giving an answer, and yeah, being okay not to say no, and when I say no, it's actually because it doesn't match the purpose or what right now. So um, I don't really have a way to say no. I think I'm, yeah, in a way, just avoiding some of that.
I read this book, and I don't know if when we had
Mhm.
conversations last year that we talked about this, but there's this book called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And I highly recommend it to anyone who's like processing and dealing with fear and whatnot. But one of the things that the author Susan Jeffers, she has this, and I
Mm,
actually have it up here. It's called the pain to power spectrum, and
mm,
in it she has these the spectrum of language that she talks about that we can talk about when we're operating out of pain and we're operating out of power. And it's interesting to me some of the things you're talking about because she'll talk about like I should do this, I hope it, um, I can't. It's more
mm,
like fuzzy language versus saying I won't, I could, I know, right? Some more of that
mm,
language that's coming out of power. And I've noticed as I start to, when I get in that moment of I'm feeling that fuzzy, like you're talking about,
mm,
and then being able to notice my language and then changing the language helps me move forward. Not that it's like a guarantee to make the settling happen, but it's
mm.
moving me in that direction as I start using that language. Um, so I think that that just
I like,
resonated with like that came up for me as you were sharing that right there.
yeah, I love that. I really like that fuzziness, the words you use, and hearing yourself use those words. That's amazing. That's great.
It's what you talked about earlier, right? The practice.
Mm,
Um, I like how Mike Rother in the book, the Toyota Kata Practice Guide,
mhm,
he shares this of when we're in these tough spaces of man, my thinking right now, I'm on the struggle bus, and Lord knows, like
mm,
I said, I'm raising my hand this morning. I was there. So he says, and I love this, he quotes somebody else, but we don't think our way into a new way of thinking, we act our way into a new way of thinking.
mm,
And that's something
mm,
that's really sat with me is okay, yes, maybe that we're all on this challenge of the way we're thinking, but the way to move forward isn't by like, oh gosh,
mhm,
think more, think better, Alexi. Why aren't you thinking different? You why aren't you more like defined, Sam? Come on. Like, it's like, okay, what are the things we can do to start helping change our mindset? Because that spinning is not going
mhm.
to get us any further.
Right. Yeah. I It's like a trap, right? That we get into some thinking trap, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm,
So, what would you say for you? Like, you've got you know, you have this challenge where you're at, where you want to be. What are the things that are keeping you from being able to be in that more grounded, present state?
I guess immediately is that just that overwhelming I mentioned. It's where what and where to start and how.
Mm. Yeah, this is something I hear all the time from
Hmm.
folks, and I think as lean folk, I think we feel like we should like know, like, okay, we should know where to start. Like I should have
Hmm.
the answers. And that's a big thing for me and a thing I hear all the time for sure from other folks. With with the overwhelm, what is that? How does that show up for you? I think maybe you've shared a little bit, but like how does the
Mm.
overwhelm, what does that look like?
Yeah. I guess like you mentioned the thoughts, like getting stuck in that. So it's just no action, um, coming back to it, 1 or 2 days later, not no action and coming back again. Um, so constant thinking about it. And um, as far as like personal, like physical, then yeah, need to work out more, so then I channel it towards other things. So maybe that's procrastination, but whatever you want to call it. But I meditate and I work out and I do those things, and then
Yep.
but those things, the to do, whatever it is still there. Um, so I almost, yeah, I found some delay time in a way to feel good about physically feel good.
Yeah, it doesn't make the whole thing go away, does
No.
it? So you're thinking about where you want to be, where you're at. You got some of this obstacle of the overwhelm. My wonder is with
Mhm.
this, where do you feel like this most like shows up, like this overwhelm? Is there a specific like area where you kind of you feel this the most?
Mm. I'd say when it comes to like work, actual commitments to my employer, things that you're hired to do a certain job, and so things come your way, and so
Yeah.
it's always yes, 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 and then now it's just overwhelming, and I would say it shows up there more at work.
Is there any particular like space? Like is there I don't know, a
Mm,
project or a team or a thing you're working on where
mm.
that's like the most like you're feeling the most overwhelmed?
It's more of the, I'd say, like the non-core work. So yeah, so outside of my normal duties, as I mentioned, I'm a product owner and a lean coach. Um, when it's outside of, there's like this third area where you have to kind of contribute to the culture at work. Whether it's running a committee, as I mentioned, or doing other things. So that's where it just tends to pile up. Or
Yeah. Um dang. Yeah,
mm,
and like when you're in your job, you kind of feel that obligation to say yes
hmm,
to all the things. In that space of the product owner, my wonder is there what is it right now as we talk about in kata, the like
hmm,
having this threshold of knowledge, like I don't know, um
mm,
what is it around maybe the
yeah,
overwhelm in this area that you don't know, that would be helpful to figure out.
yeah. The part I don't know is like how much time it would take, like how much commitment if I said yes to be on this committee, and I really don't know. Um, yeah, right
And
now it feels like an all or nothing. That's how I'm looking at it. But I don't know what that means. It's either I do it or I don't. If I do, how much of my bandwidth will be gone?
so I wonder, can I challenge something you said there?
Sure. Huh?
So one of the things we want to be careful of is the either or thinking, right?
Mm,
Instead, we want to look at it as like a both and or. what is an experiment we can go do to figure it out? So, because you've already given yourself the answer before
Mm,
you've gone out and tried something. Okay, it is either this or this. And
mm-hmm.
then before that, you said, I don't know what the time commitment is. So I'm wondering, what is an experiment you could go do within the next day that could help you be able to get some clarity, or
Mm.
move forward on this, so you don't have to just feel stuck in this particular thing.
Yeah, what is that I can do? I could reach out to the person that presented this opportunity for me to join and ask if I can shadow. Yeah, maybe shadow a meeting if they've started already. I don't know. Um,
So asking
mm,
them that, and how would you go about doing that? Would that be like
mm.
a DM, an email, like phone call? What's that look like?
Yeah, that would probably look like an email first. Yeah, we're on different sites, so setting that up, just say, hey, can you meet? You know, I yeah.
When would you send that email by?
Thanks, Joseph. I would send it by most likely, yeah, this week. I mean, I'd like to do it sooner than later, so I'll plan for tomorrow, by tomorrow.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. And what do you expect from sending that email about the being on the committee?
I'm sorry, one more time. What?
What do you expect from doing that, from sending that email?
Yeah, I'd expect to learn. Yeah, one is the availability. I expect the availability of this person to be this week as well. That we would. I expect to connect this, within this week, given next week's spring break for some of us. Um, and yeah, that's kind of my expectation. Like I would get a quick response.
How do you expect to feel doing that?
Probably, I actually feel great. Like I expect to feel better, just because I've actually got back to this person who made the request, and then two, maybe some of those thoughts of what do I do, what do I say, and how do I? Yeah, maybe those will go away. So maybe less traffic in my mind. I think.
I think that's
Yeah.
a great picture. Less traffic in the mind. I think we can all relate
Hmm.
to that. No one wants to be bumper to bumper in their own brain. Lord knows that
Right.
this doesn't work out well for anybody. Um, Thinking about our conversation today, what was the most valuable part of it for you?
Ooh. The most valuable part besides speaking with you, connecting. uh, I, the things you said, some of those words, like when you start speaking and you're saying certain words, that could be a way to trigger or detect that there's there's something off. I'm getting off center, or be aware of that. I think the awareness of the
Hmm.
words I use. So that was pretty eye. Um, just one of them. There's many other.
Well, that's great. And for everybody, I'll take a picture and I'll drop that in the chat so you all can have that, because that's definitely been helpful for me, and also been
Mm,
so great to have you today, Alexi, in our conversation. And for all who have come along today, thank you so much for being a part. Of course, we're here every Tuesday and Thursday to have these live coaching, for lean coaches sessions. Thursday, we're going to have a conversation. It's going to be, well, it'll be a surprise. I'll post it later today, and we'll have some fun on Thursday talking about sales, marketing, lean consulting. And then next Tuesday, we're going to be on a little bit later, 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern, with Katie Anderson. We're going to be talking about her journey in sales and marketing, and how she's done that over the last 10 years. So I think there's going to be some really great nuggets in that conversation as well. And as always, if you're looking for someone to help you move forward and move through those roadblocks, if you're in that lean space, you've got that. I'm here to help. So please shoot me a DM. And once again, big thanks to Alexi. Appreciate you showing up and being you and sharing openly with all of us today. Thank you so much. And of course, if you haven't already connected, goes without saying, connect with Alexi today. Hit that connect button. And I know you're going to really enjoy that light and conversation from him. So thanks again, Alexi. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Have a fantastic Tuesday. We'll see you on Thursday, same bad time. And then, of course, next Tuesday with Katie, 1 hour later for that fun conversation. Take good care, everyone. Have a fantastic week.